I am here on Wilshire Boulevard in the heart of Westwood, where UCLA is at home. And if you don't know, you really do not find this place. Right in between those high rises, there's a cemetery. There's a lot of stars you've seen on television and movies when you were growing up. Welcome to Pierce Brothers Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery. In 1880, the cemetery opened. And then in 1905, it's got its first name, Sunset Cemetery. And in 1926, it's got its name, Pierce Brothers Westwood Memorial Cemetery. It is a pretty small cemetery. And right when you walk in, you see Don Knotts' headstone. First he had a regular one, but then it got replaced with this masterpiece, showing all the character he played throughout his career. The Andy Griffith Show earned him 5 Grammys. Look how nice this plaque looks. There's Mel Torme's grave. And if you look over on this wall, there's a few celebrities you know. There's Jackie Collins up here. And if you look a little further down, we all remember the little girl from Poltergeist 1, 2, and 3, Heather O'Rourke. Steven Spielberg discovered this little girl. She died at a young age of 12 years. She was in close running for this role with Drew Barrymore, but Drew Barrymore got the role for E.T., and that's how she ended up getting the role. The little girl was also on a few episodes on Happy Days. We all remember this. They're here. And this is the final resting place of Marilyn Monroe and Hugh Hefner. I've been here many times, but it was always a rumor that Hugh Hefner is going to get the crib on the left. In remembrance of Marilyn Monroe, from her many fans, they donated a bench so you can sit here and look at Marilyn Monroe's grave. If you look closely, the front of the 2 plaques, they're totally discolored from all the lipstick, people kissing Hugh Hefner's and Marilyn's grave. And the caretaker has to wipe off all the lipstick, and that's why it looks more pink than the one on the bottom and the top. It's really hard to believe that Marilyn Monroe is dead for 58 years already. She's so current in our brains because you see on Hollywood Boulevard, on t-shirts, on mugs, on everything. But it's 58 years ago when she died. And here he is, the way we know him, with a captain's hat and a pajama jacket. He paid $75,000 for this crib. I was really fortunate to meet Hugh Hefner at his Playboy mansion in Beverly Hills. He had like a Halloween party, and I was invited by a German camera team that were doing a story about me. And here's the clip.
Das ist mir klar. Jeder hofft, dass hier nicht nur gearbeitet, sondern zwischendurch auch gespielt wird.
Man kann da neidisch werden, wenn man fast 100 Jahre alt ist und trotzdem noch so tolle Mädchen abbekommt, ne? Hugh Hefner wanted to be laid to rest for eternity next to Marilyn Monroe. The story is that they never met in real life. There are pictures on the internet, but they say they're fake. Hugh Hefner purchased a whole bunch of pictures of Marilyn Monroe and put them on the cover of his Playboy magazine. The first issue sold over 50,000 copies. And that's when he became really popular with his Playboy magazine. He also is responsible for saving the Hollywood sign. He paid for the Y to restore the whole Hollywood sign. And here's some artwork that I did. That's how Marilyn would look today, all tatted up with a Laker jersey, Kobe Bryant's jersey. Here she is on Hollywood Boulevard, next to an ATM. And here you see a picture of how they sealed Marilyn Monroe's grave, put a cement block in the front of it, and then sealed it with cement around it so it's airtight. That's the one right here and the one on the bottom. Richard Poncher, a billionaire, before he died, he told his wife, make sure that I'm gonna be buried upside down on top of Marilyn Monroe. If you don't take care of that, I'm gonna haunt you for the rest of your life. And her grave is right next to it right here. But at one time they say she ran out of money and she tried to sell his crib right here for like a few $1 million on eBay, but it never worked out. So he's right here And his wife is right here. I think this man had a pretty good life. Here's another picture where Marilyn's casket is about to go into the crypt right here. It is so surreal to think that Marilyn Monroe is behind this wall right here and Hugh Hefner is right here. We all gotta die. We don't really talk about it, but it's gonna happen. It's pretty scary. I wonder how many of hundreds of people kissed Marilyn's grave. They even sign it with lipstick right here. Same with Hugh, they all love him. What a life he had. Every guy's dream. Marilyn's second husband, Joe DiMaggio, the baseball player from the New York Yankees, wanted her to be buried right here because Marilyn's mom's friends were buried on this cemetery and they took care of Marilyn when she was a kid. And that's the reason why he put her on this cemetery. Well, this is all it is. It's just a plaque in front of it. And there's the cement behind it. They didn't do a really good job on Hugh's grave. Too much air coming through here. Just think of all the celebrities that showed up at his party at the Playboy Mansion. Unbelievable. How many people those two people influenced all over the world. You would never expect that there's a cemetery in this little area right here. We all bought the products from this family, Armored Hammer, billionaires. And if you look a little further down, there's the grave of Eva Gabor. Eva is the sister of Zsa Zsa Gabor. Here's Zsa Zsa taking karate lesson from the one and only Chuck Norris. Zsa Zsa Gabor was married 9 times. She said she's a housekeeper. Every time when she got divorced, she kept one house. Her ashes are buried here too, in the gold box in a Louis Vuitton bag. That's what the story is. And Zsa Zsa was Miss Hungary in 1936. This is the little chapel where Marilyn Monroe's funeral ceremony took place. And you can match the picture up right here. This is her casket, taken to the grave around the corner. If you look here, this is where all the celebrities' caskets were standing at one time. Even Paul Walker, he's not buried on this cemetery, but he had his ceremony right here. You can't even imagine how many celebrities were sitting in here mourning the death of a friend. I think Sage Stallone had an open casket here. When you walk down the chapel way, there's a lot of celebrities right here in the front. Here he is, Rodney Dangerfield. Here goes the neighborhood. Finally, he get the respect he deserved. This is him, comedian and actor. He was in the movie Easy Money and Back to School. Really funny guy. Here she is, my favorite angel, Farrah Fawcett. We all remember this picture, right? In 1970, everybody had this picture. Look at her hair, a beautiful smile. I was in love with this lady. Her death was overshadowed with Michael Jackson's death. She didn't get the proper respect because everybody was just thinking about Michael Jackson, even though Michael's a superstar, but she's a well-known artist too. So I felt really bad that nobody really gave her the respect when she died. Somebody put an apple up here. It's unbelievable that I'm here right now. And when I grew up, every Saturday, I watched Charlie's Angels. The best looking angel I've ever seen. It's unbelievable to think that she is here and I saw her on TV a long time ago. Thank you so much, Farrah. Rest in peace. She went to Germany for a cancer treatment because the chemo she got in Germany was not allowed here in the United States. And she was cancer-free for a few months, but then the cancer returned and that's how she died. She was married to $1 million man, Lee Mayers. A lot of celebrities that lay on this cemetery here, they all work together on different movies. Like Jack Lemmon worked with Walter Matthau and Marilyn Monroe in Grumpy Old Man and Some Like It Hot. This is Sam Simon, the co-creator of the longest running TV series ever, The Simpsons. And that's a picture of him. He was a philanthropist. He loved animals. When he died, he donated most of his money to shelters. And this is his dog, Columbo. He also had it engraved in the bench. And there's Bart on his gravestone and Santa's little helper. Peter Falk, another childhood memory right here. The lieutenant in his raincoat. That's a picture of him. Iconic, his cigar, his raincoat, and I think he had one glass eye. I think he was blind on one eye. I'm not here, I'm home with Shara. Billy Wilder, but nobody's perfect. Somebody put all those silver coins on top. Merv Griffin, creator of a lot of game shows. I will not be right back after this message. Walter Matthau, also really funny guy. He was in Grumpy Old Man, The Odd Couple, and Dennis the Menace. There he is. Funny man. Walter Matthau. Eric Douglas. He's the brother of Michael Douglas and the son of Kirk Douglas. He's been in a few movies. Sadly, he died of a drug overdose. Sanctuary of Love. There's the one and only Rat Pack member, Dean Martin. He did a few movies with his friend Jerry Lewis. Dean Martin got buried in his tuxedo. Everybody loves somebody sometimes. He was a great singer too. He did some celebrity roasts. Dean Martin. And right underneath the shadow of this beautiful tree is Burt Lancaster. There's a picture of him right here. He was in a baseball movie called Fields of Dreams. And he was in the movie with Dean Martin, Airport. What fascinates me too is such big stars have so little graves. There's a elevator that goes underground. There's like a mausoleum underneath. I wonder who lays here. Private, no tourists, please. It says Bueller on that one, but it can't be Ferris Bueller. There's a waterfall in the back. Carl Malden, Streets from San Francisco with Michael Douglas. He needs a little new grass on his grave. Also the private section. Right next to this beautiful fountain is James Coburn. I really know him from Bruce Lee's student. He taught him how to do Jet Kune Do. I used to be a big Bruce Lee fan, and that's how I saw pictures of him. But he was in the Magnificent Seven, and he did a whole bunch of westerns, but he played always the tough guy. Jack Klugman from Quincy. Sage Stallone is Sylvester Stallone's son. He played with him in Daylight and he played in Rocky V. He played his son. Nobody really knows the date when he died. He found dead at his house. They thought it was an overdose, but I looked it up on the internet and it says he died of natural cause, a heart attack. If you look around, all those gravestones next to him don't have a name on it. So I'm wondering if Stallone bought all those graves for his family. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below if you know anything about it. And if you look down here, you see Florence Henderson. Here's the story of a lovely lady. Florence Henderson played mom to millions on the TV show The Brady Bunch. She played Carol Brady. That's where she laid to rest, right here. I actually got to meet Florence Henderson on the beach. They came with a camera crew that were doing some kind of TV show and they wanted me to put a henna tattoo on her. I don't remember what it was. I think it was just a flower. But I shook her hand and I got to meet her. And I also saw the houseboat she had in the marina. Look at all those little graves. If you have to go to one in the back, you have to step on all the other ones. That's an old tree here. This here is the unmarked grave of musician Frank Zappa. His famous song was Valley Girl, and his music ranged from rock to jazz. but it looks like it kind of collapsed a little bit. That's weird. Right there is Marilyn Monroe's grave. If you come down right here, you see Paul Gleason. Do you know who Paul Gleason is? That's this guy right here. He was in Trading Places and he was in Die Hard with Bruce Willis. He played the principal from the Breakfast Club. You know, he used to say, if you mess with the bull, you get the horns. That's why it's that picture right here. And right next to him is Carl Dean Wilson from the Beach Boys. In between those two gravestones is the unmarked grave of Roy Orbison. It's my mom's favorite. In the 60s and 70s, he became really popular. He sang the song Only the Lonely and Oh Pretty Woman. He was always known for his dark sunglasses. And this is actually a friend of mine. Him and me, we came at the same time to the United States. Prince Oliver von Anhalt. His real name is Oliver Bendig. And this guy adopted him, Frederick von Anhalt. The word is that Oliver paid him $1 million to get the name Prince. He was married to Zsa Zsa Gabor, so Oliver was actually Zsa Zsa Gabor's son too. He owned a couple gentleman clubs named Foreplay. Somebody put the Red Bull here. And this is how I met Oliver the first time. That's when he came to America. All ripped, ready to conquer America. He became really successful, but unfortunately, due to a motorcycle accident on Mulholland Drive, he got killed, and it wasn't even his fault. Really sad story. I have a lot of good memories with Oliver. We used to play endless games of backgammon at Break Shot, and then we used to go to the nightclub on Sunset Boulevard, the Roxbury. The first time I was driving in a Rolls Royce, that was his Rolls Royce. And then one time we went to Beverly Hills, Hilton, New Year's Eve party. It wasn't even his Royce. He got it from Robert Wagner. So we're driving in Robert Wagner's Rolls Royce to New Year's Eve party at the Beverly Hilton. It was amazing. We had a really good time. It's really sad that he had to go so early. We never know how much time we have left, so we better do what we like to do. This is the grave of Dorothy Stratton. This is Hugh Hefner with her. She was in a Playboy June 1980. She was a Canadian model. She got killed by her husband and manager, got shot with a shotgun in the head, and her husband killed himself afterwards. Yeah, her gravestone said it herself. Queen of pinups, Betty May Page, and BDSM model. She became really popular in the 50s, and after a while she couldn't handle her fame anymore. She kind of secluded herself, and at the end she didn't want to have to do anything with Hollywood anymore. So she became a born-again Christian, and I think Hugh Hefner paid for her funeral. Right next to this little cute Christmas tree is Natalie Wood's grave. She was married to Robert Wagner, the actor, and she died in a tragic drowning accident in front of the coast of Catalina Island. She was most known for her movies Rebel Without a Cause with James Dean, and I think she was in the West Side Story. And when she was 9 years old, she was on the movie Miracle on 31st Street. How can it be so quiet in the middle of Los Angeles? Here lies Chester Clarence Chung. He's not a celebrity. Every time I walk here, I wonder what happened to the guy. And then I found out that there's a gang fight between two Asian gangs, and he tried to break up the fight, and he got caught in crossfire and he got killed. Tragic way to die. But I always stopped and I looked at his grave. And that was it from the Cemetery of the Stars. If you liked the video, please share it. Give me a thumbs up, push the notification bell, subscribe, and I see you in my next video. Tschüssing from Hugh Hefner and Marilyn Monroe. I see you then.